support the Every Child Matters movement and urge others to stand in solidarity with us. The orange shirt has a history that is both rebellious and revolutionary. You see, it started off way back at St. Joseph's Mission Residential School in British Columbia. 6 years old, Phyllis Lebstad was excited to go school shopping like most children right now. Phyllis picked out the perfect orange shirt for her first day of school at the Mission. She says, "I remember going to Robinson's store and picking out a shiny orange shirt. It had strings laced up in front, and it was so bright and exciting, just like I felt to be going to school." When she arrived, the shirt was taken. She was shamed and was given a new uniform. Children in Indian schools were treated less than human. They were treated as if their lives didn't matter. Most times, children in boarding schools were given soldiers' uniforms that were old and tattered. Phyllis never forgot how low she was made to feel on that day. Her spirit was broken. The color orange has always reminded me how my feelings didn't matter, how no one cared, how I felt like I was worth nothing. All of us little children were crying and no one cared, she remarked. The history of state-run boarding schools for Indigenous children operated in Canada between 1863 and 1998. American Indian boarding schools, also now more recently known as Indian residential schools, were established in the United States during the early 19th century and the mid-20th century, with the primary objective of civilizing or assimilating Native American children and youth into Euro-American culture. Not only was this another forced removal from traditional homelands, but children were physically abused, they were sexually assaulted, and forced to renounce their Native identity by cutting their hair, giving up their names, languages, and teachings. The basis of this cultural discontinuity was described in the motto, "Kill the Indian, save the man," and make him or her a useful contributor to society. The government forced tens of thousands of American Indian children into residential boarding schools, often taking these children without any consent from their families. And after that, many as 1/3 of Indian children were separated from their families from 1941 to 1967, in the Indian Adoption Project, according to a 1976 report by the Association of American Indian Affairs. The harm of these residential schools and the Indian Adoption Project did to the children's sense of self-esteem and well-being played a big part in our cultural discontinuity. Many children did escape, but had to dodge bounty hunters to get back to their families. This orange shirt stands as affirmation of commitment to ensure that everyone around us matters. This orange shirt movement honors residential school survivors, their families, and communities, and is recognized on Orange Shirt Day, which is held every year on September 30th. This meaningful and significant movement started in 2013 to recognize the month in which Indigenous children were removed from their families. So far, as of today, there are 6,509 of those children's remains have been discovered between Canada's residential schools and the United States boarding schools. It is important to note that these schools were funded by the government and Catholic churches, both which have yet to acknowledge the full scale of the historical trauma that affects our people today. These are our family members. We stand in solidarity with our people because if children are our future, then in fact every child matters, and these children's struggles will not be forgotten. To join the cause or to donate, go to www.orangeshirtday.org and learn about Phyllis's story. You can also find Phyllis as an executive director of the Orange Shirt Society. She tours the country telling her story and raising awareness about the impacts of residential school system. She now has published 2 books, one called The Orange Shirt Story and Phyllis's Orange Shirt for Younger Children. We hope that you would go and stand in solidarity with us.